So Melora Hardin, your new show, The Bold Type, really hit at the right moment. I mean, it's talking about a lot of things that we're talking about right now in terms of female empowerment and power of the press and what the new generation has to offer. Can you talk a bit about doing this show with everything else that's going on in the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, when I was coming from Transparent and when I was looking at the script, and and really for me, I think that one of the greatest things that I took away from Transparent is this idea of making great entertainment, but making great entertainment that actually is doing good in the world. And so when I read this script, I really felt like it had the potential to be so current and modern and part of the kind of balanced conversation that we would really like our political leaders to be having right now. And that's what I think I like most about the show, and the most about my character on the show.
Well, tell us a little bit about your character, Jacqueline Carlyle.
Yeah, she's the editor-in-chief of Scarlet Magazine, which is kind of a Cosmo-like magazine. A magazine for women, and my character is inspired by Joanna, who was the editor-in-chief of Cosmo, and she is now the chief content officer of all her publications. So she's quite an amazing woman, and I was really attracted to the fact that Jacqueline is a very balanced boss. She's a woman of power on television, which we don't see enough of, women of power on television who are real people, who are people that have integrity, who are kind, who are, certainly challenging. She challenges her young employees, but she's not unfair. She's not unreasonable. She's not backstabbing. She's not a bitch. She's a woman who's running a magazine. She's overseeing a large thing, and she's really got something to say, and she has a lot of passion about what she's doing. And that's the kind of boss she is. And I thought that was refreshing and important, actually important for the world. And I get women and young people coming up to me all the time saying, I want a boss like you, or I want to be a boss like you. And that's just music to my ears. You
mentioned Joanna. I'm curious. I mean, did you meet with her or read about her in order to prepare for this?
We did. We met and we immediately, I just think we immediately liked each other. She's just so my kind of woman. And the women that I have in my life are women that are balancing lots of things. I mean, I'm a mom. I have a big career. I have 2 children. I have a husband. I have a life. I have friends. I have social life and animals and things that I'm doing. And Joanna's the same. She has, a family and 2 boys and a husband and a long-term relationship and a huge career and traveling and all that stuff. And I think that was a very bonding thing for us, just that we had so many things in common, but that we're both really passionate about what we do. And she's super funny and super smart and quite an amazing person to be working with. Yeah.
The show really does help defy expectations about what to expect about women or a female-led magazine, which is a lot of what's going on right now. I mean, I remember when Teen Vogue published that article about Donald Trump gaslighting America, and the thing that people said over and over and over again was, "Oh, I can't believe that Teen Vogue wrote this," which is kind of, very telling about what our expectations are like when it comes to magazines like the one that's portrayed in your show. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think there's still a place for flipping through a magazine, and I think that there's something tactile about it. There's something, that smell of a magazine is really lovely, and the glossy pictures and it's an interesting kind of interaction in this world that is so much about social media now, and so much like what we're doing right now, where people are watching things on their phones, watching things on their computers. But there is something about like having that physical thing in your hand. And there's something that reaches people in almost in a different way, because maybe it's a more relaxed state in the way that you're receiving your information. And maybe it's because it is tactile and because there is a familiarity to it because it's been around so long. There may just be a way that, that it can reach, that a magazine can reach people that's just got a different quality to it. It's not that the it's not that the amount of information or that is different really, or that it's better or worse. It's just it's a different way of receiving it. It's a different vehicle, and I think there's something very appealing about that vehicle of the magazine, and the fact that that on the show we can talk about all these current issues, and we can talk about them in ways that are really honest. And as I said earlier, that we can have balanced conversations, and we can agree to, and we can disagree, and I can challenge my young employees without shaming them, without being mean. I mean, there's a way to be reasonable and to be kind, even when there's someone really not performing well. In fact, they need to be fired. There's a way to do all of that with more grace and more integrity, and I think we need more examples of that. And I love that the show is an example of that, and my character in particular.
Right. Talk a bit more about the relationship that you have with there's these three young women who are at the center of this show, and as you said, you're a real mentor figure to them. Can you talk a bit more about, I guess, specifically how you help each of these young women individually, or what she sees in them individually?
Yes. What she sees in each of them, each of the different characters. Yeah, I think, Jane is sort of obviously she's very type A. She has a lot of potential. She's got a lot of talent. She's got a lot of ambition. She's got a lot of passion for being a writer. And probably Jacqueline sees a little bit of herself in Jane, in that I think Jacqueline was also extremely passionate and driven to get to where she's gotten. And so I think there is, and then Jane, she's lost her mother. And so I think there is sort of there's something that is kind of maternal there with Jane, and a softness that I think can come out between the two of them. With Kat, I think that I think Kat is really, really talented at her job. She's really smart. She's really good at her job. She's really on top of pop culture. She's on top of the way social media works, and she becomes the social media director. And I think that Jacqueline is sort of highly impressed by her and is always encouraging her to trust her instincts and to be challenged and to challenge herself. So that's an exciting, also I think very kind of relevant boss employee relationship that I love that we're exploring. I think that the character of Sutton, in terms of how Jacqueline relates to her, I think she sees that Sutton is very talented, but she's insecure. She's insecure and she's afraid. She's got too much fear to really go with her gifts. And in season 2, you really do see Jacqueline sort of speak to that and say, look, this is who you are, and you have to trust that, and you have to lean into that, and you have to step up to that. And so that's exciting to see that too. So very different, all three very different relationships, and very specific.
Is there a bit of that relationship too on the set? Because I have to imagine that if they're like me, they grew up watching your shows and your movies. So I wonder, I mean, is there a bit of that dynamic there too between you and the actresses who play these characters?
Well, I would think so. I mean, if I were them, I would probably feel like, well, this is somebody who's kind of done everything that we want to be doing. I mean, I've been in the business a long time. I've had a ton of longevity and started acting professionally when I was 6, and, have managed to create a lasting and loving relationship with my husband, who we just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary. And I have 2 happy, thank you, healthy children, and I'm still full of life and passion and joy for what I do, and continue to do what I love to do. And face all those challenges, hopefully in a way that is graceful and maybe something that might be potentially an example of how you can get through the unique challenges of our business and being separated for long periods of time from your family. And so all I can really say, because I can't really answer for them, is that if I were them, I would certainly be mindful of that and maybe have curiosity about that, because there's a lot to be said for it, you know. And I do hope that I hold. I take that very seriously, to kind of hold that position of grace and integrity on set, and in my life, I do my very best to maneuver through challenges that, you know, in the most kind and reasonable and intelligent way.
You've had a lot of really great moments from the first season. What for you were some highlights for your character, moments that you really relished as an actress?
Well, I mean, I loved, obviously, the finale episode was pretty great for me, for my character, to see that Jacqueline is a woman who has gone through, has been raped, and has managed to not necessarily align with that, but has been able to. I don't really believe you ever get over that, but I think you can get through that. And I think she has gotten through that, and she's gotten through that in a way that, by all markers, looks successful, in the sense that she has a happy, successful marriage. She has children that are thriving, and she has a career that's thriving and healthy, and that she is able to kind of look at those dark places without fear and without intimidation. So I think that was really a highlight for me. What else? I mean, I really like some of those boardroom scenes where she's laying out the issue, or, you know, talking about what's coming up, because you get to see some of her spunk and some of her sparkiness, which is a lot of fun.
Now, you guys, your second season is about to premiere tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
It'll have premiered by the time this posts. But can you tell us a little bit about season 2 and what we can expect?
Yeah, I mean, season 2 is very exciting. We're talking about lots of relevant issues. We talk about gun ownership. We explore a little further the way that Jacqueline has actually moved through, and how she still holds and includes this sexual harassment moment in her life. How Jane is going to find her way now that she's not at Scarlet. How that will play out, and how Jacqueline and Jane will what will happen there. That you get to find out. You get to find that out in season 2, and then how Kat does with her, you know, in her relationship with Adina, and how she does in her new role of being the social media director. So it's exciting, and it's there's lots of fun moments, lots of amazing sisterhood and mentorship moments, and very touching moments, and beautiful moments. And it's, you know, the show's great. It's kind of like candy, but candy that actually gives you protein and is healthy. I don't know what that candy is quite yet. Maybe it's like eating a really amazing, perfect peach.
Hopefully science will come up with it one day.
Yeah, it's a chocolate bar that actually feeds you and nourishes you.
Now, you are an Emmy nominee for Transparent, which you brought up earlier. What did that recognition mean for you? And also, I mean, to get it for a show that, as you said, was both entertaining but also had a real social message, and I would say did a lot to change our perspectives of the transgender community. What did that mean for you? Yeah,
I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. The whole experience of that show was was wonderful in every way for me. I was so in love with that character. She, you know, she was just so, she was such a clear character, and I felt that there was something really powerful about her knowing really what she wanted. She was kind of the only one on the show that really knew who she was and what she wanted. She wasn't wishy-washy. You know, all those characters are wishy-washy. Everybody's kind of like, I don't know who I am or whatever, you know. And then to be acknowledged by, you know, by my peers and by the TV, you know, Academy, it was really quite extraordinary. And then to be alongside all those other amazing actresses and yeah, so it was very meaningful. And, you know, to be whatever I am now, 40 years into my career, and to get acknowledged like that, it was sort of like, wow, yeah, this feels good. I think I'll do this again. I'd like this again. let's keep going down this path. I like this a lot.
You also won a couple of SAG awards for The Office as Best Ensemble. Talk a bit about that, but also, I mean, you know, that's a show that has become a modern classic, and that a lot of people still watch today. So to have been a part of that, what does that mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite amazing, actually. I mean, I have a new wave of fans out there that are more rabid than I think our first and second wave, and they're young. I mean, they're all, you know, they're all in their late teens, early 20s, and you know, and up, of course. But it's different. Our first wave of fans were kind of geeky guys that were like 18 to 40. You know, it was kind of who really the show really appealed to, and now it seems to just cross all boundaries. Everybody just loves The Office, and I think Jan has really become a very iconic character, and oh, it's just such an honor to be a part of something that resonates with so many people and so many generations in such a way that is deep and making so many people laugh and so many people happy. I can't tell how many people have told me I've gotten them through their divorce or gotten them through their, you know, the death of their father or their mother, like how it's just made such a difference in their lives. So again, it's like, it's that wonderful crossover when something can be really, really entertaining, but also really doing good. And I think laughter can do a lot of good and does do a lot of good and can be very healing. And so yeah, it's kind of incredible. I you know, makes me think of the you know, somewhere in my wicked childhood, I must have done something good, right? Just makes me think that way. Like, I don't know, how did that work out? But I got on these you know, two like iconic shows for different reasons, and now I'm doing another amazing show that I also think is doing good in the world, and it's also very entertaining.
Well, Melora Hardin, thank you so much, and congratulations on another great show. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Have a good one.